Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I've posted, but I promise I'm trying to get on a schedule with this. But I did just recently get an order for a Lightning McQueen dress, which is something new, and I wanted to record that for you guys. So I wanted to take it back to the basics for a second. Here I'm making a 2T dress and I'm using this one's actually a 9-inch crochet top, so I'll show you how you can make that smaller if you're in a bind and only have a certain size top. And I will leave a list down below with size suggestions for both the top and the tulle. So here I have 2 strips of tulle. I folded that in half lengthwise and then I folded in half again. And I use my fingers to make the middle, the center point, smaller. So I just roll it between my fingers and it makes it easier to get through the top. So if you're looking at this crochet top, you'll see here that there is a little section that has only a string, and then right next to that is a solid square. That is where you want to place your tulle. So you're going to go in the hole above that solid square and then pull your strings or your strands of tulle through your loop at the bottom. And it's just a basic slip knot. Pull gently so you don't tear your crochet and make sure that your ends are even. So one more time here, I'm taking 2 strips of tulle. This just makes the dress thicker and poofier. So I have my 2 strips folded in half, folded in half again, twist the middle with your fingers to make it smaller or tighter, and then you're going to go into the hole next to the first one. Bring that center point down at the bottom, open your loop, and pull your strands through gently. And for all of my dresses, I do 2 rows of tulle. If you're doing a more poofy princessy dress, you can do 3 rows or more. So here I'm just going to show you how to do the second row. Again with 2 strips of tulle, folded in half again. And if you look here, this is the hole where we first put that first row of tulle in. I'm going to go in the hole above that, come out at the bottom in that same hole that we first used. And then you're going to do another slip knot for that. So go ahead and add your tulle all the way around the first row and the second row. And I'm back, and as you can see, I did sew ribbon to the bottom of this dress. So I did the top layer with the 7/8 inch grosgrain yellow ribbon, and the second bottom layer is orange 7/8 grosgrain ribbon. I have done a few tutorials on this method in showing how to sew your ribbon to the bottom of the dress. I will leave a link for those videos in the description box below, as well as at the end of the video. I will leave a clickable thumbnail so you can easily find those tutorials if you would like to learn how to add the ribbon. I will say the ribbon, aside from the fact that it's adorable and adds a lot of volume to the dress, it does keep the dress intact, which prevents wrinkling and bunching. For the face, I just did a Google search for Lightning McQueen face, found an image that I liked, blew that up and printed that out, and I'm going to use that as a stencil. So I cut out each of the individual pieces. I cut out the main piece for the eye frame, and then I cut out each of the eyeballs and used each of these pieces as a stencil, as I had mentioned. And I used some thicker white felt for the eye piece, and then I used a blue glitter canvas, turquoise glitter canvas for the eyeballs, just to add a little girly touch. And then I used a black glitter craft foam for the inner part of the eyes. So all of this has been hot glued down already. And then I also, and this is what's going to go right here on the dress, I also cut out a matching piece in red felt, which is going to go underneath the dress for support. Right here, I'm just placing the red piece of felt underneath in the place where I would like the eyes to go. I have that set in place, and now it's time to add the white piece on top, just like this. So right here, I'm just triple checking that it's in the exact spot that I want. Once you're ready, take your hot glue gun and glue directly onto the crochet top, making sure to reach in between the holes to get the felt piece that's underneath. I'm now taking the white piece and placing that right on top and pressing down firmly to secure that to the top. So I'm just using my fingers to press down, constantly picking off glue strings. Once that's down, I like to take my glue gun and go around the edges and tack down every single edge. You don't want anything flipping up on the sides. So just pull back the white piece, add some glue around those edges, and press down. It's now time to add the mouth. So again, this was a stencil that I cut out from the printed face that I did in the beginning. And I used the same white felt that I used for the eyes. And for this, because the piece is so thin, it's not necessary to put an additional piece of felt underneath the crochet top. So I'm going to be gluing this directly onto the top. But feel free if you'd like to add that extra piece. I just find that with the smaller pieces, it doesn't really make a difference. But with the larger ones, I like to add some additional support. So right here, I'm just adding glue to the back of the mouth and carefully placing that on my dress. Now my mannequin I have been using for quite a while, and it has a ton of glue and felt and all kinds of stuff on it, so I don't mind gluing directly onto the dress. The glue does get through to the mannequin, so keep that in mind, that if you don't want that to happen, find a way to protect your mannequin underneath. Or again, you can just add an additional piece of felt underneath, which prevents that from reaching the mannequin. If you are gluing directly onto the mannequin, once you're done with the dress, just be careful when you're taking it off, because you're gonna have to stick your fingers through the inside of the dress to separate the glue from the mannequin. You don't wanna just yank the dress off because it can ruin the felt on top. I hope that makes sense, but this again is only if you get glue on your mannequin. The next little pieces that I'm adding are his little headlight cheeks, and they're so cute. So I'm just using a yellow felt, just a regular yellow felt, and I'm gluing this directly onto the dress in the same spots where his little headlights would be. So I've got my little yellow piece here, and then pressing that down, and I'll do the same thing on the other side, making sure it's in the same row of holes so that they're in the same spot. The last little detail for the face is I'm going to add some little smile lines. So I'm just using a black glitter craft foam, the same that I use for the center of the eyes, and I'm just cutting out a little crescent moon shape, a thin one. And this is what I'll add to the edges of the mouth. So I'm gonna show you here. It's just like a little moon shape. Place some hot glue directly on the back of that little piece, being extra careful not to burn your fingers. And then just glue that down on the edge of the mouth, and you will do the same exact thing on the other side. As I had mentioned earlier, I had to fold down the top of this crochet top to make it a bit shorter. There are always workarounds to every design, just remember that. So I start in the back and I put some hot glue down the seam of the dress, and then I just tack it down. And I don't do it all the way around because you don't want to have glue on the entire perimeter of the dress, because it won't stretch if you do that, and it might be difficult to get on. So I just glue in a few areas just to keep the fold down. You'll also be adding straps to the front, which will also hold that down. and I've never had any issues with doing this. So as you can see here, I'm gluing just in a few little spots to keep that down. It's now time to add the straps, and I'm using a 7/8 inch yellow grosgrain ribbon, the same exact ribbon that I used for the bottom. And I also do have a tutorial. I'll leave a little clickable link here on some different strap options for any of the tutu dresses that I make. This one I'm just going to do a halter strap, but if you'd like to see some other ways, then check out that tutorial. For the halter straps, I've cut 2 long straps of equal size, and you want to take one of those and heat seal your end. I cannot stress enough how important it is to heat seal every single piece of your ribbon because you do not want that to fray. Quality is everything, just remember that. So I folded the end in half to make it easier to get through the holes here. And I'm selecting a spot right above where the shoulders would be, or right below where the shoulders would be. I pulled my ribbon through, and then I'm going to place some hot glue here at the top of my ribbon. You then want to fold your ribbon together and press that tight. So there's one strap, and do the same with the other side. So here is the halter. I just love the look of the halter straps. They are my favorite. And I was lucky enough to find this awesome race car looking ribbon from Hobby Lobby. They're regular $3.99, but every other week just check their weekly ad. They are 50% off. So this roll of ribbon was $2. So originally I was going to put it across the dress like that, but I decided I just really didn't like it, and I felt like it took away from the face detail. So instead, I cut out 2 smaller pieces of that ribbon. I'm going to add an accent detail to the straps. I don't want to make the straps entirely out of this ribbon because the material of this ribbon is thin and it will wrinkle the ribbon. So I only want it to be an accent design in the front. So the actual strap part that you will tie around the neck is just going to be the yellow ribbon. I'm starting at the top of the crochet top, not where the strap begins, because I do want that yellow to show. And I'm just gluing this down. It's the same exact width as the yellow ribbon. They're both 7/8 of an inch. And just glue that piece all the way down. I added that ribbon to both of my straps, and now I'm going to include a matching bow. So I've cut out a longer piece of that race car ribbon and a matching piece of the orange grosgrain ribbon that I used on the bottom of the dress. Now to make my bows, I'm just going to overlap this like an awareness ribbon, and I apologize in advance that my arm gets in the way, but you'll see what I'm doing here in just a second. So I overlap those sides just like this, and then I bring the back part down to the middle to match it. Make sure my loops are even. You're then going to fold in the middle. I'm so sorry that my arm is in the way, but you're just going to fold that in the middle just like that and use some embroidery thread or some very thick string to tie that off. So now you have your bow, and I've also trimmed the ends on a diagonal and to be the same. And I also took my lighter and heat sealed the ends, always heat seal. Now taking my glue gun, I'm just going to put some glue on the back of my bow at the top. And then finding a spot off to the side, I'm just going to hold that down until it's dried in place. Once that's dried down, you're going to take a 3/8 inch grosgrain ribbon. I'm just using black to tie off the center. Heat seal the end of your little piece of ribbon. And then taking that end, I'm going in the hole right above the bow, and then coming out in between the tulle that's underneath. So, you know, those crochet holes, I'm sticking it through a hole right above the bow and then coming out the bottom. So you have a top and a bottom piece. Using my glue gun, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the center of the bow. And then attaching that bottom piece of ribbon. So I'm going to show you here. So I've connected the bottom ribbon and I'm holding it down while pulling the top so that I can tighten it. And hold that firmly until it's dried. Then you will add more hot glue on top of that right in the center of the bow and press down the top part of the ribbon to secure that, and take your scissors to cut off the excess ribbon. The last detail I'm going to add for this dress is some rhinestone trim. I'm using a gold mesh rhinestone trim to the straps and to the center of the bow on the dress. So I'm cutting off a 2-row piece of this gold mesh rhinestone trim, and then cut that to the same width as your straps. And so it's going to go right there between the race car ribbon and the yellow ribbon. Using the glue gun, I'm just going to place some glue on the back of my little rhinestone piece and attach that on my strap. And you'll do the same thing for the other strap. And that is it. I also added the rhinestone trim to the center of the bow, as you can see here. And she is all done. Little girly Lightning McQueen dress with a ribbon trim, race car ribbon, halter straps. I absolutely love making this one. I have a feeling this will be a popular design for me for the upcoming Halloween season. If you guys would like to suggest any specific characters or methods of tutu making, please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I will be working on an actual set schedule to be posting content for you guys more consistently. I appreciate each and every single one of you, and have a great day.